Picture your childhood street on a warm summer evening, filled with children laughing and playing until the streetlights flickered on. It's hard not to feel a sense of nostalgia for the past when life seemed simpler, healthier, and slower. We didn't rush to the GP for every sniffle, and life wasn't constantly dictated by medications. So, how did we stay so healthy back then? Let's take a step back into a time when health was woven into the fabric of everyday life. In the decades spanning from the 1950s to the 1980s, walking was simply how people got about. It wasn't seen as a form of exercise, it was just part of the rhythm of daily life. Children walked to school, to the shops, or to visit their friends. For many families, owning a car was a luxury, and even if they did, it wasn't used for short trips. Most people would walk to the bus stop, which was only a short distance away, or pop to the corner shop for daily essentials. Walking wasn't an afterthought, it was natural, and it kept people active without them even realizing it. This simple movement kept bodies in shape. Children walked miles to school every day, often in groups, chatting and laughing along the way. Adults, too, thought nothing of walking to work, even if it meant covering several miles each day. The simple act of walking kept blood flowing, joints lubricated, and muscles strong. It wasn't about going to the gym. It was about moving through life. Throughout the 50s to the 80s, the streets of Britain were alive with the sound of children playing outside. The curbs became makeshift goals for football, lampposts marked the bases for rounders, and every patch of pavement transformed into a hopscotch grid or a spot for a game of British Bulldog. There were no scheduled play dates, no indoor soft play areas, and certainly no screen time. The outdoors was the playground, and it naturally kept kids healthy and active. They ran, jumped, and climbed, their bodies toughened by the scrapes and bruises that came with such free play. Physical resilience wasn't structured, it happened organically. The outdoor lifestyle also built strong immune systems. With kids playing in the dirt, sharing ice lollies, and picking up food off the floor, there was little worry about germs. This low-level exposure to everyday bacteria and dirt helped children develop robust immune systems that weren't overprotected by antiseptic wipes or excessive sterilization. In homes across Britain, remedies for common ailments were passed down through generations. Got a cough? A hot drink of lemon and honey with a spoonful of glycerin would do the trick. Feeling under the weather? Dry toast and weak tea were the solutions. These remedies weren't just about curing, they were about teaching patience and resilience. The approach to health was simple. Not every ailment required a trip to the doctor, and often, time and natural care were the best medicines. A headache didn't call for instant painkillers. Instead, people rested in a dark room with a cold flannel. A sore throat was soothed by saltwater gargles. And chest colds? Well, Vicks Vapo Rub and steam from a bowl with a towel over your head worked wonders. These treatments, though simple, supported the body in healing itself. They gave the body time to recover naturally, rather than immediately suppressing symptoms with medication. Sweet treats were a rare luxury in post-war Britain. They were enjoyed on Sundays or saved for special occasions, not consumed on a whim. A bottle of fizzy pop was a birthday treat, not an everyday indulgence. Breakfast was a simple affair, with porridge or toast as the staple, and sugary cereals were few and far between. This careful moderation of sweets and sugary drinks helped avoid the modern health problems of obesity, diabetes, and tooth decay. The anticipation of a treat made it special, and the limited quantities meant that no one overindulged. The food we ate was far less processed than what many consume today. Most meals were made from fresh, locally grown ingredients, with seasonal produce dominating the menu. Strawberries in the summer, Brussels sprouts in winter. It wasn't a trendy choice, but a natural way of life. Meat came from local farms, bread was freshly baked, and milk arrived in glass bottles on doorsteps early in the morning. This food wasn't just fresher, it was also more nutritious. Without the long shelf-life preservation techniques that modern supermarkets use, the food still contained the vitamins and minerals that processed alternatives often lack. While the food we ate kept us healthy, so did the pace of life. There was time for rest, reflection, and genuine relaxation. In an age before constant connectivity, work stayed at work. There were no emails flooding inboxes after hours, and no smartphones buzzing with notifications. Evenings were spent with family, watching television, reading, or just chatting. Sundays remained a day of rest, with shops closed and the streets quieter. This slower pace meant lower stress levels, and that in turn contributed to better physical health. The act of simply being present in the moment without the constant pull of technology allowed our bodies and minds to recover, reducing the risk of stress-related illnesses. Physical work also played a role in health. Many jobs, whether in factories, shops, or offices, involved constant movement. Factory workers lifted, carried, and moved throughout the day. Shop assistants stood on their feet, cleaning, restocking, and serving customers. Even office work involved walking to filing cabinets and delivering messages by hand. Housework was genuine physical labor, scrubbing floors, wringing out washing, and beating carpets. It wasn't glamorous, but it kept people fit. Unlike today's sedentary office jobs, many jobs required constant movement, which helped maintain muscle strength, stamina, and overall health. Retirement often brought a sharp decline in physical health. With less activity after decades of physical labor, many people saw a decline in strength and mobility. This highlighted just how crucial daily movement had been to their health throughout their working lives. Life before modern technology had a rhythm that naturally supported health. From fresh food to constant physical activity, people were able to stay healthy without even thinking about it. Communities were tightly knit, and everyone looked out for each other. Neighbors would pop around to check in on the elderly, offer to help with shopping, or care for children. People weren't isolated in their homes, but were connected to their local networks. This sense of community provided emotional support, which is crucial for mental health. The feeling of belonging meant that people rarely faced challenges alone. This kind of social fabric is hard to find today, where isolation is more common, especially among the elderly. Shopping was an entirely different experience back then. Instead of heading to a large supermarket, most people visited their local butcher, baker, and grocer. The food was fresh, and seasonal eating was a matter of course. The food didn't sit on shelves for weeks, and it didn't come packed with preservatives and artificial additives. The connection between food and health was far clearer then, and people didn't have to worry about artificial sweeteners, excessive salt, or unknown chemicals in their food. Meals were simple: meat, 2 veg, and often a fresh pudding to end the meal. Life in those days wasn't just healthier, it was also slower, more intentional. There was time to be bored, to potter about, to enjoy the simple things. And this too contributed to physical and mental well-being. When the pace of life slowed down, people could recover properly from the week's exertions. Sleep, too, was more restorative in those days. With fewer distractions and more natural schedules, people got better rest. Children went to bed at proper times, and adults weren't kept awake by late-night screens. This good sleep supported the immune system and helped maintain overall health. Reflecting on those days, it's clear how much we've lost in the hustle of modern life. The natural movement, the fresh food, the strong sense of community, and the pace that allowed time for rest are all elements of a healthier life that seem increasingly rare today. The simplicity of those times helped build resilience, physical, emotional, and social, that modern life struggles to replicate. What do you miss most about those simpler times? Share your memories and the health wisdom you still hold dear. Perhaps together we can reclaim some of what once kept us well. If you enjoyed this nostalgic trip down memory lane, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content that celebrates the past. Let's continue to share our memories and keep those precious moments alive.